What's next, Adam? You got some
Right.
news for
So
us, right?
what's next comes from about the Vive Cosmos Play headset. So this week, Vive has announced that the newest headset, the Vive Cosmos Play, is switching to an enterprise-only headset. Now, this is going to be a really big deal because the Vive Cosmos Play was going to be a really big deal in the inside-out tracking. It had 6 cameras, incredible tracking, really good displays and cameras, and it's going to be enterprise only. They're not even going to try and sell it to consumers. Vive has really been juggling this idea of whether they want to be consumers for games and everything or enterprise for businesses. And, this is just another indication that they're stepping out of the VR market for gaming.
Mhm.
Which is
This-
super unfortunate.
This is
Go
just
ahead, Toad.
HTC's. This is HTC's kind of thing they do. They spread themselves too thin. They had phones that were rated the top smartphones, but they also had phones that were totally budget pieces of crap. And so it gave them this terrible mixed message. Some people loved them and some people hated them, and they just got all convoluted. I feel like they're making the same mistake again in VR. They're trying to go too many directions with it. Like, pick a lane and stick with it. And they're just not. So I'm worried about their future, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
and
I
they
actually
definitely
feel kind of the opposite. I'm actually really excited
really?
to see them going into the more like enterprise kind of direction because I feel like the biggest thing that's holding VR back right now is that the mainstream hasn't necessarily accepted it into their everyday life. For right now, it's
Right.
very aimed towards like gamers and whatnot. And knowing that there's bigger companies who are going to start using VR for wide, or just a wide array of different kinds of purposes, and kind of having HTC actually focus in on those and those more business minded or even like the older generations, like bringing those people into VR is going to be huge and making it more of just an acceptable kind of mainstream thing where you walk into a store or an expo or whatever and people are showing off their products virtually. Like I see that being an incredible thing by them going all in on this. Like I see why it sucks because them pulling it out makes it a lot harder for like all of us. But I see it being a long-term really good thing. It's just how I feel.
I have
No,
a hard
I'm
time
actually-
believing a headset's going to get big in enterprise unless it's wireless, though. Maybe they're
Mm.
going to surprise us with a really good wireless module, but I just don't see a huge amount of businesses taking this into their everyday if it's wired. So that's my word. I would love to see any company really take off with any sort of VR headset in all their offices at every desk. But I
We're
worry.
getting closer, just not there yet.
I actually disagree with you, Jay. So I actually think that being tethered to a computer is actually going to be one of the better features because if you're in a VR headset, like I'm looking at this from someone in my field, a programming field, where you can meet together in VR, you're doing all of your work at a computer anyway. It's okay to be wired to a computer if that's where you're doing your work, your programming, you can have your desktops up, sync with your computer really well. It makes sense to be wired to a computer. Adding the wireless option will just be an added cost that these businesses won't want. Everyone has a computer. Don't you guys have computers?
But is the future still computers? That's maybe I'm looking
That's a
way
bigger
too far
question.
here, but
Whoa.
like the HoloLens is a completely built-in device. Like, I don't know. I'm going to take us too far down the rabbit hole, so I'm going to cut myself off here. But like, if every station could have this headset that's wireless and does the things their computers, what if the companies don't need the computers? Like, that's the future. I
That's
think
a tall
that it could
order.
actually replace it all. I know it's big, but that's my view of what I want to see come. I'm sitting here hoping.
All right, title of this episode: Jay hates computers. Right?
I would like to say
I-
that's not true.
I initially was also thought that this was not great news because I mean I've seen previous companies that th- admittedly the general line of like companies that go into VR, they release a VR headset, the VR headset absolutely fails, no one buys it, then they try enterprise, they get some mild success there but not enough to really keep their business going, and then they go bankrupt. I've seen that like 5 times now. So that would be my worry, but what PHIA is saying is also correct. I've mentioned this before. Laptops, desktops, these things become big and popular once everyone has them, right? No one bought laptops until suddenly they needed a laptop for their job, and now everyone has laptops. So if VR can get there, then yeah, this is huge. I also think we might need wireless because I imagine sitting at my desk at like a cubicle, and now I've got to get the VR headset. I got to clear space on my already cluttered desk because the cord's gonna run and get it all hooked up. And
Mhm.
I could definitely see the appeal and just like it's wireless. I just throw it on. It should still connect to your PC, especially if you want to like pull up multiple windows and like do some multitasking. So maybe we're just not quite there yet, but absolutely,
Yeah.
you're
I
right.
think this
It
is
is
just the start of it, really. Is
right.
we're taking these initial steps, which probably are gonna be kind of iffy in a lot of different ways, but to get to the like future that we want, which is where it is accessible and for everything, we kind of have to take these beginner steps is the way that I kind of see it.
Absolutely. And if there's a company that can do it, it is Vive. Vive was
Mhm.
one of the first to pioneer this whole VR thing, right? They were one of the big ones. It was them and Oculus going, we are going to make VR a thing. And they did. They succeeded, even
Mhm.
if they're floundering a little bit right now.
Mhm. Just a tad.
Just
Just a
doing some
tad.
soul searching,
Maybe a
right?
little bit.
And yeah, this is what is that headset that released? Not like that long new, but like relatively recently that is just kind of bad. The Vive, is it the Vive Cosmos? It's
The Vive Focus, the Vive Plus, the Vive
There's
There's
just
so
been
Cosmos.
so
many
many
Sorry.
of
Vives.
them.
There's
Yeah,
so
there's a
many
lot.
ones.
Pretty much anything with the word Vive in there is not doing insanely well.
Yeah.
They might have to die, but at least they'll get it started, and then someone else will take over for them.
Mm.
right.
Yeah. Walk all
And
over their corpse to
HTC
get to the finish line.
HTC is a big enough company that they've got a bit of a cushion to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna move us on. They're not that big a cushion. So I'll take this next one. So the Roman gladiator-esque Swords of Gura announces a 1v1 tournament this week with a top prize of over $1,000, which maybe isn't enough to, it just pays for your rent, but hey, this is pretty
It's
cool.
enough
It's
to
cool to
upgrade
see.
to the index.
Yes, enough to upgrade to the index. Oh, maybe I should play a little bit more Swords of Gura.
Get that money back.
Yeah.